I don't think we need any help with Iran, to be honest, Libya. They're defeated militarily, and they'll either do the right thing or we'll finish the job.
Trump confirmed before leaving Washington that Iran would be a major topic during long talks with Xi, although he insisted that trade would remain the primary focus of the visit. Still, the timing of the meeting leaves little doubt that the worsening crisis in West Asia is now focusing the world's two biggest powers into urgent geopolitical calculation. The visit comes nearly 2.5 months after the Iran conflict exploded into a wider regional war involving direct US military operations and repeated Israeli strikes across Iranian-linked targets. Even though a temporary ceasefire is currently holding, uncertainty remains extremely high. Inside Washington, reports suggest senior Trump aides are increasingly concerned that the ceasefire may collapse at any moment. Some US officials believe the administration is already preparing alternative plans for renewed military actions if negotiations fail. Trump himself added to those concerns with his remarks before boarding Air Force One. Speaking about Iran, the US president declared that America would win it one way or the other, peacefully or otherwise. That statement has triggered fresh debate over whether Washington truly sees diplomacy as the final solution or merely as a temporary pause before a possible renewed conflict. At the same time, Trump also publicly backed Pakistan's role as mediator between Iran and United States. His comments come despite criticism over influential Republic voices who recently warned against trusting Islamabad's involvement. Trump praised both Pakistan's military leadership and Prime Minister, saying they had been absolutely great in helping mainstream communication channels with Tehran. The support also reflects the growing diplomatic role Pakistan is trying to play in the region as tensions threaten wider instability across Gulf. China, meanwhile, appears determined to position itself as a stabilizing force. The Chinese foreign minister has already urged Pakistan to intensify mediation efforts aimed at reopening Strait of Hormuz and protecting maritime trade routes. The strait remains one of the world's most important energy choke points, with nearly 1/5 of global oil shipments passing through it. For Beijing, the crisis is not only about diplomacy but also about economic survival. China remains heavily dependent on Middle Eastern energy imports, and any prolonged disruption in Strait of Hormuz could severely damage global supply chain and energy market for China. And that explains why Xi Jinping is expected to push strongly for maintaining the ceasefire during his talks with Trump. However, Beijing also faces a delicate balancing act. China has strategic partnership with Iran, deep economic ties with Gulf nations, and increasingly competitive relations with Washington. Xi's challenge will be to prevent the conflict from spiraling while also protecting China's own geopolitical influence in the region. Meanwhile, the economic cost of the war continues to rise sharply. According to recent estimate, the US military campaign against Iran has already cost nearly $29 billion, far exceeding Pentagon projection presented to Congress just 2 weeks ago. The impact is now reaching ordinary American as well. The US Energy Department has reviewed and revised fuel prices forecast upward, with average petrol price exceeding to rise from $3.70 to $3.88 per gallon this year. That increase could become politically damaging for Trump ahead of the next election cycle, especially if oil markets remain unstable. On the ground, the violence has also continued. Despite the ceasefire, Lebanon's health ministry say 2 people got killed, where 1 got injured in Israeli striking targets emergency workers in southern Lebanon. Such incidents are fueling fears that small regions' flashpoints could easily drag the entire conflict back to full-scale war. Iran, for its part, remained deeply distrustful for both Washington and Tel Aviv. Iranian Foreign Ministry spokesperson accused the US and Israel of spreading fabricated justifications for atrocity, describing the war as struggle between a proud people and professional liars. Those comments underline just how fragile the current pause in fighting really is. At the end, the Trump-Xi meeting in Beijing may now become far more than a routine diplomatic engagement. It could determine whether the ceasefire survives, whether global oil routes remain open, and whether the world avoids another major military escalation in West Asia. For now, the world waits to see whether diplomacy can succeed where military forces has failed. Stay tuned with Moneycontrol for more updates.